Meghan and Harry, these absolute cretins, decide to inject themselves into the devastation in Los Angeles for one reason: to get their faces back on camera and to improve their image. They want people to think well of them.
The wildfires raging across Los Angeles have left a trail of devastation in their wake. Homes have been destroyed, families have been displaced. And yet, amidst this tragedy, a different kind of firestorm has erupted, one fueled by the actions of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Their recent visit to an LA fire evacuation center, captured and splashed across media outlets, has left many questioning their motives. Was this a genuine attempt to offer comfort and support? Or was it, as many suspect, a calculated publicity stunt designed to rehabilitate their image? The optics of the situation are certainly questionable. Arriving with a full entourage of cameras and publicists.
So they decide, you know what they really need? Us. What they need is us. And honestly, Stu, you go there, you don't make a mention, no, you don't get caught on camera, nobody knows what you did. That maybe that's one thing, although with these two, no. But no, they made sure that they got on camera. They made sure that their names got in the press. And that was the name of the game. First of all, I got one other thing. When you're actually a member of the royal family, Harry and the British population answers to you, sort of, they're your subjects. Maybe they do need to see you during times of tragedy. You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right? Stop getting off on the trauma porn of real suffering in Los Angeles. It's ridiculous. It's offensive. And don't take my word for it. Go and follow the X feed of our friend Justine Bateman, who just went off on these, what did she call them? Disaster opportunists, which is exactly right. Disaster tourists.
I'm going to have to now withdraw that Nobel Peace Prize I earlier offered you after your words on poor Megyn.
By the way, Corinne Jean-Pierre would tell you it's Nobel. It's the Nobel Peace Prize.
The Nobel Prize. The Nobel Prize. The Nobel Prize. And I mean, look, you might say that she's not sacrificing for this, Megyn, but she is delaying her Netflix series for this. This is, I mean, she's really invested in really caring about this. I don't know. Maybe she does care. I do think at the end of the day,
she doesn't.
Does little to dispel the notion that this was anything other than a carefully orchestrated photo opportunity. The timing is also suspect. Coming on the heels of yet another round of negative press, this time surrounding the postponement of Markle's Netflix show, With Love, Meghan, the visit smacks of desperation. It is hard to shake the feeling that the couple is more interested in generating positive headlines than in genuinely helping those in need. The term disaster tourist has been bandied about quite a bit lately, and nowhere is it more apt than in describing the actions of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This phenomenon, characterized by a morbid fascination with tragedy and a desire to be seen amidst suffering, has become increasingly prevalent in our celebrity-obsessed culture. It is a cynical exercise in self-promotion.
The priorities seem to be
was dying.
Her face on camera.
The Queen's husband was dying, and she went on Oprah and suggested one or both of them are raging racists. She couldn't have cared less. She doesn't care about anyone other than herself, and I include Harry in that. She cares about her image. That's why she's there. That's why she's writing positive messages on bananas to sex workers, which just happens to be on camera. If you want to help the people of Los Angeles, and I know that millions of Americans around the country right now are doing exactly this, you can make a donation. You can participate in GoFundMes. There are all sorts of groups that will help you. You don't have to fly there and inject yourself right in the heart of it on camera where you know you'll become the story. She did the same thing after Uvalde. She flew down there and made sure she got on camera when kids had just died at the hands of a shooter. This is a pattern for her. It's not about charity. It's about her image.
Yeah, I cannot disagree with one part of that. And that's sad because there's no, I mean, think of the emptiness of that life, Megyn. Like if that's your job to go around and just think about your image 24 hours a day. I mean, she doesn't even have acting anymore. She's actually picked a profession that somehow is like more conceited and more self-indulgent than acting, which is quite the
Tough to
trick
do.
she's been able to pull off. Very difficult to do. But she's now doing this, with its constant focus of media attention on her, in this weird idea that she's
where genuine empathy takes a backseat to the pursuit of likes and shares. Meghan and Harry, it seems, are not content with simply observing this trend from the sidelines. They have instead fully embraced it, inserting themselves into the narrative of tragedy with a brazenness that is both astonishing and appalling. Their visit to the evacuation center, far from being a gesture of genuine compassion, reeks of opportunism. They are, in essence, capitalizing on the suffering of others to advance their own brand. This is not the first time that Meghan and Harry have been accused of exploiting tragedy for personal gain.
She's got these like mythical villains that she seems to be fighting all the time. People trying to thwart her, her meteoric rise throughout the world. And it's like, I don't know what she's doing. It doesn't seem like she has her priorities straight in any way. And look, if she could raise a bunch of money, which she could, and donate it to these people, that would be great. But her going down there and doing something on the ground does absolutely nothing for anybody except get cameras on her.
Why doesn't she give him the proceeds of that Netflix deal? Why doesn't she give him some huge donation from her? She got $150 million from Netflix and Spotify, and that's what led Bill Simmons to call them grifters, because they did nothing over at Spotify. Now she still takes the Netflix check. You know why she can't air her special? Because it's all about her Martha Stewart type reinvention in her huge mansion, even though it's not her mansion, it's a rented mansion, trying to make herself into like Queen of Montecito and sell us jams and breads and a lifestyle that she's curating. It would be a bit tone deaf for her to release this steps from the ashes, including of her neighbors in LA, her dead neighbors and their community that's been absolutely leveled, people who don't have her $150 million. She can't release it. And Netflix, you release it now at your own peril. That thing needs to wait a year minimum before it hits the airwaves. Otherwise, you'll have people like me all over you for being disgustingly insensitive. All right, we have to move on because there's a couple things we have to hit. So tomorrow we have the Pete Hegseth. Oh yeah, that's
can you imagine that? I would give anything to see her just
literally everybody in the world would watch that.
Tell her that she was going on another show and then she walks in and the interview starts. Any amount of money for that to happen.
Some therapists say that debt can make people feel desperate and helpless. I mean, we don't need a therapist to tell us that. That's obviously true. It can ruin your sleep. It can creep into your relationships. It can wreck your happiness. But there are ways to get help. You don't have to just sit and suffer alone and in silence. Let me tell you about Done with Debt. They have aggressive new strategies to end your debt fast. Done with Debt stands between you and your harassing bill collectors. They tirelessly negotiate to slash balances, eliminate interest, and stop the crushing penalties, all without loans or bankruptcy. Done with Debt has one goal: to wipe out your debt for good. Before you make another payment, consider a visit to donewithdebt.com. Speak with one of their strategists for free and tell them I sent you. But you do need to hurry because some debt solutions are time sensitive and you don't want to miss out. Go to donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.
Their ill-timed and tone-deaf visit to Uvalde, Texas in the aftermath of the horrific school shooting still lingers in the minds of many. Their decision to travel to the grieving community, not to offer condolences to the families of the victims, but to stage a photo opportunity at a memorial site, was widely condemned as being insensitive and self-serving. The parallels between their actions in Uvalde and their recent visit to the LA evacuation center are striking. In both instances, they have chosen to insert themselves into the center of tragedy, seemingly oblivious to the optics of their actions. They appear to be utterly incapable of understanding, or perhaps simply unwilling to acknowledge, that their presence might be unwelcome, even offensive, to those who are genuinely suffering. The backlash to Meghan and Harry's visit has been swift and severe. Many have accused them of being tone-deaf and opportunistic, more interested in burnishing their own image than in offering genuine help. And it is hard to argue with that assessment. True acts of kindness are performed quietly, without fanfare or the need for recognition. When one goes out of their way to publicize their charitable deeds, it inevitably raises questions about their true motivations. The timing of Markle's Netflix show postponement only adds fuel to the fire. It is difficult not to see the delay, which came amidst growing criticism of their actions, as a cynical attempt at damage control. By pushing back the release date, they are hoping to wait out the storm of negative press and re-emerge at a more opportune moment. But this calculated move does little to address the underlying issue, their blatant exploitation of tragedy for personal gain. Until they acknowledge the harm their actions have caused and commit to a more genuine form of philanthropy, they will continue to be viewed with suspicion and disdain,